helping people coordinate. So we can do that. We could do it messaging, but it doesn't seem to be working very well. So there's other digital tools that we can employ or create that will help them coordinate better. We just haven't invented them yet, or actually you haven't invented them yet. I'm not an inventor. Right?
But you think people interact in real life can be completely bring online?
No, I wouldn't say
future.
it that way. I would say that the best example, as competent as human beings have gotten, is when we're face to face. There may be better ways of doing it, but we need to invent those or create those or adapt those. And it's not going to be my generation that does it. It's got to be someone.
So we're trying to be there.
Yes, I mean, you guys have this Homo connectus, this whole idea of horizontal connectivity, horizontal relationships is much stronger in you. And so you're the ones that are going to have to design it. You're going to have to create it. Right? And to me, it's very exciting. I'm around long enough to see what you guys come up with. But it's not going to happen, I don't think, overnight. I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. As you guys start creating this real estate in the metaverse, these places where people can come together, where things like coordinating and planning, where there's lots of support and tools available to help them do that, so that that's not what they're spending all their energy on. And they're not just messaging, they're not just sending chunks of text back and forth. I think that you guys are going to be very effective at actually solving problems. And I think that's going to reduce the cost of a lot of the work that we need to do to solve some of the problems that exist right now. Right, but the best our generation can do, I think, is to help you set aside the assumptions of the digital or the analog manufacturing industrial way of thinking, and start to try thinking like, object-oriented database in a digital environment. Other ways I've talked about it are throwing stuff away. Right? Human beings don't throw stuff away. So if the library at Alexandria, in Egypt, about 4000 BC, if it hadn't burnt down, we would still have those scrolls. Like the Dead Sea Scrolls. We have those. We have those still. We don't throw anything away, which was not fine, but was sort of manageable until the digital age. Now there's so much stuff being created, we can't find anything in it. And so we have no theory, no way of thinking about it, about the stuff, the artifacts that we're producing, because we're producing them just like the physical ones, and so they're accumulating, because we don't throw anything away. So another way to think about what you guys have to do is find a way to help each other using digital environments within which to coordinate and collaborate. But then find a way to get rid of a lot of what's produced. Save only the essential stuff. There's no such thing, and we're drowning in data. Right? And so, again, you're going to have to create this. I can give you some ideas, right? Which is you center your efforts around specific kinds of human problems. You keep refining those solutions so that you throw out the old ones. As new ones get developed, you keep the new ones right up front where people can use them, so it's very available. And you get rid of the other ones. I mean, the interesting thing about human beings is that they really don't throw anything away. So even if you take it out of the system or the real estate, somebody will still have it. But you don't have to centrally archive it and make it accessible. Right? Because content is useful. It's interesting. There's plenty of things to do with it. I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying that to solve real world problems, you're going to have to find a way that allows you to get rid of all the junk. We have no theory that does that yet.
So you mean the priority? Like people always to...
I think priority is too simple. It's a too simple way to look at it. I think it's more comprehensive than that. It really is the artifact. Right? The artifact is what takes so much room, takes so much space. But storage is cheap, so we won't throw it away. Right? I've run into this trying to talk to librarians who are into archiving the web. Like they're distressed because some of the early web pages don't exist anymore. And I created some of the earliest web pages, I and my students. And they're gone forever. And in one sense, I understand what they are trying to do, but in another sense, so what? Right, really, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
We are still just using this digital technology like we use the printing press and the typewriter and the telephone. We're not using them, taking advantage of what they can do in order to make work more reasonable for you guys to make decisions, to solve problems.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. What else can I?
Yeah. Well, you basically covered every question that I have.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. One of mine here is, when you design a class, what was the process like? How do you determine what materials should be delivered?
Well, first of all, I don't think of it as materials being delivered. I think about it as ways of getting the students to think in a different way. And so I try to think of it in terms of a final way of thinking or a final, like in user-based. I'm trying to get you guys to think about creating, we'll call it a website, but it's more than a website. But that's radically different from the websites that exist today in a couple of different ways, important ways. One is it's being designed not by experts in website design. I would not qualify any of you as experts in website design. But it's going to be designed based upon what will work for the people who are going to use it rather than the people who are making it, which is where user-based comes from. And that was something that occurred fairly early on as a linguist, because it became clear, to me that human beings are full of meaning, right? Even young children are full of meaning, and yet we seem to think that by educating them, we make them smarter. But in reality, and I mentioned Ken Robinson's RSA video on YouTube. He talks about a study, a longitudinal study that was done of children from, I forget the ages, it was like first grade, third grade, fifth grade, seventh grade. And they were looking for nonlinear thinking, or thinking outside the box. And they were trying to get at the idea of creativity. And if children are dumb, and we send them to school to get smart, maybe to train them, then you would think that as they're going through school, they would get better at being creative. When in fact, the exact opposite happened. Exact opposite. On first graders, I mean, you have to go look at the video, but the first graders, 98% of them achieved